Hello again, FA Nation. Justin Fensterman back with you, and it's Fantasy Football Stock Watch time. Let's talk trendy players, shall we? Some trending up, others trending down when it comes to their fantasy football production potential. Let's get to work. First player trending up this week, Joe Burrow. He's completed over 68% of his passes in each of his last 3 games. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes in back-to-back weeks and has been picked off just once since that disaster Week 1 game versus Pittsburgh. Burrow has 781 passing yards alone in his last 2 battles combined. He's even run in scores in 3 straight outings and hasn't fumbled since Week 2. The Bengals haven't been great against fellow AFC North opponents, and the Browns are middle of the road at defending quarterbacks, but Cleveland has lost 4 straight and has surrendered at least 23 points in all 4, and they've allowed multiple rushing touchdowns from quarterbacks. Another player on the up and up, Ken Walker. The Seahawks rookie running back just put up 168 yards on the ground against the Chargers, and Walker is averaging over 6 yards per carry this year. He's run in 4 scores in his last 3 games collectively. Coach Carroll has given him 20-plus carries in both of his last 2 outings. He hasn't fumbled, and while the Giants haven't allowed many backs to run in touchdowns this year, they've allowed the 3rd most rushing yards to running backs in the league, and Travis Etienne just burned them for 114 yards and a score. Kenyon Drake ran in a score on the Giants in Week 6. Also on the rise, Raheem Mostert. Mostert has always been able to run effectively. It's just his health that's always been questionable. He's left Chase Edmonds in the dust when it comes to snap share and workload, and he's hit the end zone in 2 of his last 3 weeks and has received 3 or more targets in 3 of his last 4 outings. Mostert's rushed for 4.9 yards per carry or better in 2 of his last 3 matchups. He's consistently receiving double-digit carries. The schedule gets easier for him moving forward, as his next 4 games are against some of the weakest rush defenses in the league, and we should continue to see him thrive. And now for some players trending down. Let's start with Lamar Jackson. After getting off to a scorching start, Jackson hasn't hit the 20-point mark in fantasy production in 4 straight games. He's completed fewer than 60% of his passes in his last 3 contests. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns in his last 4 games, and he's not even running in scores with banged-up running backs. Now Gus Edwards is back, and we saw how effective he could be when given the carries, further strengthening their running back core and possibly taking carries away from Jackson. Jackson hasn't run in a touchdown since Week 3. Tampa isn't the easiest team to throw on, and that's who Baltimore has on Thursday. Let's go to the other side of that matchup and talk about another quarterback trending down, Tom Brady. Has he lost the ability to throw multiple touchdown passes in a game consistently? He's done it once all year. After throwing for over 5,300 yards in 2021, Brady has hit the 300 passing yard mark twice. That's it, twice in 2022. He's become unreliable despite getting picked off just 1 time this year. He has a get-right matchup against the Ravens, but he had a similar one against Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago in which he completely let down. He's getting older, doesn't have the same protection on the offensive line due to injuries. He's got off-the-field issues he's going through, but as he said, he wants to play football. Final faller, Drake London. Not all his fault. For the 3rd time in the Falcons' last 4 games, Marcus Mariota failed to throw 20 passes. In Week 7, he completed fewer than 10 passes for the 2nd time in 4 games. London has seen his targets drop over the last few weeks. He hasn't scored since Week 3, and after catching 13 passes combined in the first 2 weeks of the season, he's caught 13 in his last 5 games combined. We've seen Olamide Zaccheaus either match London's target share or get prioritized more than him in the Falcons' last couple of games. We just saw Carolina not surrender a touchdown pass to Tom Brady. Let's see how Mariota fares in Week 8.